This podcast is a member of the Place to Be Nation family. Visit us at placetobenation.com, the only place to be in your pop culture world.
Welcome to another episode of You Don't Know Billy Jack, a podcast series, a live watch podcast series. I don't know if I said that or not in all the other ones, but
I think you did.
A podcast series where we watch some of the greatest wrestling matches of all time and discuss those through the eyes of a non-wrestling fan. My name is Drew. And
Are you the non-wrestling fan?
Yes. I am.
You hate
And these
wrestling.
are my eyes.
Yeah.
My eyes are my own. No, the non-wrestling fan is Jordan Darby.
Hello.
One comment we've gotten is that the commenter appreciated, of course it was our mutual friend Douglas,
Okay.
appreciated that I only give out my first name, but I give your full name for maximum hate mail.
You would probably love to give out all my information.
And I try to.
Yeah.
At the end of every episode.
If you knew my social security number and my mother's maiden name and all that, I feel like this would get really out of hand.
Really quick. It's
Yeah.
really quick, too. So the background of the show, of course, inspired by Jeff Learns Wrestling, also on the Place to Be Nation podcast feed. But Jordan and I are longtime friends. I am a wrestling fan. Jordan is not. And I've compiled a list, somewhat arbitrarily, of matches that have the reputation of being the greatest matches of all time. And it's kind of a social experiment here. I want Jordan to watch them and see if he can capture some of that feeling of why these would be considered the greatest matches of all time. And we do a live watch and we just respond. We just talk about the matches and I just want to hear Jordan respond to them. All that being said, this is a little bit of a special episode. We're taking a deviation from our usual chronological progression of greatest matches. We're watching two matches that are not considered to be the greatest of all time. Generally, these are considered to be great matches, but these are two of my personal favorite matches, and I just wanted Jordan to watch these since we would not otherwise do so.
Unless I was forced to in such a setting.
Yes. And believe me, if we're kind of limiting ourselves, or I'm limiting this series to like a very very doable amount of episodes.
Right.
Because, man, I think
The
every day
rabbit
of
hole.
Yeah.
We'd end up in
Ugh.
would be nightmarish.
Truly nightmarish.
It'd be like the 30 seconds in Event Horizon when he pulls up the log.
Yes.
And it's like this gnarliness.
Yes, it would be that stretched out over the course of 50-something weeks.
Yeah.
Survival Tobita. Extraterrestrial life. Gorgeous Jimmy Garvin promos.
Yeah. Well, thankfully, the good people on your podcast feed or network or whatever it is, they were gracious enough to grant you the limited space. That you're getting. So
Yeah.
We're enjoying the time that we have.
Absolutely. And I do want to, I do want to make sure I actually finish this, because Lord knows, everything else I start I don't finish. Coming to you live once again from the body dump. Again, not in the comfort of a household, but in the practice space. So any extracurricular noises anyone may hear, our apologies.
Yeah, it's been unusually quiet tonight, so
Yeah, conspicuous.
I'm actually like a little nervous that your car may or may not be here.
No, it's not.
When
It will not be here.
John was saying that they someone took out the license plates of the guy's car. You know, the guy who has it's kind of like a hobby shop.
Yeah.
Did he tell you that?
No, someone
he
took
just came out and his license plate was gone.
God, really? Well, during the day?
I think so. Yeah.
That's too bad.
Yeah.
You know, I left my car I left that car in Oxnard
You
the other
your
day.
heart in Oxnard.
Yeah, my heart. I went out with APS on some calls, and
it's cool, guys. I'll just park here.
Yeah, I was just like, yeah, whatever, it'll be fine, and it was. But like, leaving your car and it's like a new shiny car.
Yeah, you just never know.
Never know.
I mean, you know, when my brother lived, you know, in the Lemonwood area, he got his license plate
Lemon Grove, right?
Lemon
Yeah.
Grove. He got his license plate stolen.
Yeah, like a bunch.
Twice.
Yeah. Well, there you are, and here we are.
C'est la vie.
C'est la vie. Anyways,
let's escape now into this fantastic world of.
Listen, you're joking.
I think escape is
it.
The running theme.
Yes,
here.
this is it. You understand? I don't have to deal with APS calls.
Yeah.
Or my license plate getting stolen.
Right, exactly.
All I have to deal with
is a curly-haired giant sitting on your face.
Yeah. But then I also have wrestling to turn to.
You are so sick. Oh.
All right. Our match today. The Rock and Roll Express versus the Midnight Express. This match is from Wrestlewar 90. The promotion is the NWA/WCW.
Okay.
We've seen this company before, but it's a year later, 1990. So
have we seen like WCW?
Not technically yet. It's still the NWA at this point.
Okay.
It's not, but it's essentially in its final form.
Okay.
It's NWA in name only.
Okay.
So this is from the Wrestlewar 90 show. We're gonna, the point of this is we're gonna do a watch along. We're gonna talk about the match as it happens. We're not gonna do our regular questions afterwards because it's not. I just want you to watch this and respond to it, and we'll just kind of share some general thoughts afterwards. And we're gonna watch another match then after that as well. So here we go. If you're watching along at home, I don't have the WWE Network pulled up on this. That's not where we're watching it from because, my computer is too old to connect to the WWE Network, so it's on some other horrible link. But anyways,
yeah, you're getting a virus on your computer right now, probably.
I am, and that's fine with me. So we're watching this match from, if you want to watch along, Norman the Lunatic is sitting on Cactus Jack's face.
Dude, that's a mouthful right there.
Yeah.
I mean, pull yourself out of this, world and realize, what are we doing here? What is this? I won't.
I won't. Yeah, it's okay, so we're going to go 3, 2, 1, play. All right? Ready? 3, and so this is just before they cut to the promo, the Midnight Express promo. 3, 2, 1, play.
With Jim Cornette. All right, gentlemen, right now I'm with Jim Cornette, the Midnight Express, and of course the last time you met the Rock and Roll Express, you came out victorious. However, tonight things may change. Oh, lots of things change in life. People change, places change, things change. The Berlin Wall came tumbling down. Preachers and politicians fall off their pedestal. New ones rise up to take their place. And a lot of things change in professional wrestling, especially over the last couple of years. But some things never change. The Rock and Roll Express and the Midnight Express, still the greatest tag team matchup in the history of professional wrestling. Some things never change. We still hate the Rock and Roll Express's filthy, stinking guts. And some things never change today.
Did they ever swear on these?
Yeah, sometimes, not much.
Nothing
in this
crazy.
era. Right.
Because the Midnight have faced the Rock and Roll more times than
Even during the era with like the bikini babes and all that.
Then they would, yeah, much more, yeah.
We're still the greatest tag team combination in the history of professional wrestling. Always have been and always will be, regardless of who says different. Stan, what day is this? The day the music died. Rock and roll. Let's go back to the ring, please.
Oh, baby. All right. So, yeah, so you see it says WCW right there.
Got it.
So it's essentially WCW. Technically, it's still the NWA, but yeah. Yeah. So now that was the Midnight Express. That was Jim Cornette. Jim Cornette, does that person seem familiar? So, Robert Gibson, Ricky. So there's Robert Gibson there. There's Ricky Morton. Robert Gibson as a lazy guy.
No, I wouldn't believe it.
I'm just gonna get that out there.
There's nothing lazy about that person, dude.
Well, you were right about that.
I'm just gonna get that out there.
Here we go. The Midnight Express.
So this is a lot more like what I think of when I think of wrestling.
Right, yeah.
Like they're really hamming this up already.
Yeah. Sweet Stan there on the right. Beautiful Bobby on the left.
And the main guy, the promoter guy, was holding like a tennis
racket, yeah.
Is that significant anyway?
We'll see.
Okay,
Okay, so this, I mean, the guy said in his promo, Jim Cornette said, the greatest tag team matchup of all time, Rock and Roll Express versus the Midnight Express, and that's like true.
Huh.
Yeah.
He's sketchy, dude.
Yeah. So, I mean, these teams. Hold on. So these teams have feuded at this point for 7 or 8 years, on and off, you know.
Dude, that guy is like hyped on himself.
Oh yeah. Well, there you go. So these teams have feuded in different promotions for years at this point.
Okay.
3 or 4 different promotions, like big name. They made like a lot of money together.
Okay.
You know, they were big time like draws and everything. You know,
Yeah.
in like the Southern Territories.
Okay.
So, this match, this is kind of like their last hurrah. It's 1990, so things are kind of changing, you know. And they're getting older, but this is like they had a couple matches after this, but in terms of like big time, significant matches, this is kind of it. So.
Okay. And how cognizant of that are they? I mean, are they pretty aware?
I think in some capacity, probably.
Are a lot of these wrestlers aware of their own mortality in that sense?
I mean, in actuality, who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the eternal question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fascinating career.
Yeah.
These guys and their what goes on in their brains.
Yeah. Uh-oh. We got a little hiccup here. I apologize. Let's see what's going on.
I think it's still
connected?
Yeah, I think so.
So this is a real questionable operation we're running, so I do apologize. Jordan first and foremost, but to everyone. Yeah, there you go. I just skipped forward a little bit.
See what happens.
Yeah. So, so this will be I'm not going to tell you what a Southern tag match consists of, but this is a very, to me, like a great example, like one of the best examples of a very traditional Southern style tag match.
Okay.
And so at this point, we haven't seen a tag team match.
No.
Do you know what that means?
I mean, is it that they're to fight each other one at a time?
Yeah.
And you have to like touch the other guy to get him in, and you have to get out.
Yes.
And then is it over when everyone is tagged out except for on one team? So like if he gets, I mean everyone's been pinned on one team, so if he gets one of the midnight guys, then they just got to go through the other midnight guy, and then once they get him.
No.
Okay.
It's just whoever gets pinned.
Okay, whoever gets pinned, and that team loses.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So that there would be a rule, maybe like a elimination match or something.
Okay.
Yeah. So I don't know if you heard, but
Dude,
so
this guy's a ham.
Jim Cornette fanning Sweet Stan off there with his tennis racket. Needs to take a cool down a little bit.
Yeah, right.
But I don't know if you heard the commentaries say that these teams know each other so well because they countered each other real quick in that sequence. Yeah, so that's
and
like
the ref just shoved the guy out of the ring.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, they're really hamming it up right now.
Yeah, look.
Dude.
Jim Cornette's jacket is off.
He's a big guy.
Yeah. Doughy. Very doughy.
Dude.
Jim Cornette, well, here we go.
So now he's begging the ref to hit him. Whoa. They're trying to get the ref to fight him.
Yeah, here we go.
Oh my gosh, dude. This is ridiculous. This is like a child who loves the attention. That guy.
Yes.
He's like a little boy who's like, oh my gosh.
Eating it up.
Yeah,
just
he's like,
eating it up.
He's just loving this.
Yeah. So, yeah, there you go. Jim Cornette very upset that
I'm
Nick
like
Patrick was going to fight.
So, was this on like TBS or?
So this would have been a pay-per-view.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so these guys are like, they're playing with each other pretty well.
Yeah.
They know exactly what's going on.
Yes.
So when they moved throughout these different promotions, did they move as a team?
Yeah. The teams moved.
Yeah, like you stayed with your guy and you just went to him. That's kind of crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, and in the Midnight Express's case, it was like the three of them
Crazy.
just all moved, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, 3 or 4 promotions, and it was like, you know, they'd go somewhere, and then a little bit later, the Rock and Roll Express would come in, and yeah.
And everyone got paid.
Everyone got paid. Yeah, like they made like, I want to say, and I could have the figures wrong, but in like 1986, it was like you know, each of the Midnight Express, like all 3 of them made like, you know, over $100,000 a year.
Dude.
Which is, I mean, you know, 1986 is
that's a
good
lot
money.
of money.
Yeah. So now we got beautiful Bobby in there.
It's okay.
And do you know he is one of my very, very favorite wrestlers of all time?
I was gonna say you have to love that team, the Sweet Stan.
Yeah, I mean they're the best tag team of all time. Like hands down, no contest. The only contest would be them, the Rock and Roll Express, and the Midnight Express is better, I think. Yeah, beautiful Bobby. I mean, like I said, one of my very, very favorite, and he is like a great wrestler. Hell of a body. Face like a beehive.
Did he ever wrestle on his own?
Look at this.
Whoa, he's climbing the guy's face.
Oh yeah, look at that. Yeah, so he had a little string of singles matches, and he was a very good singles wrestler. He never like got to be like a real top guy, but I mean he was very good. So this is one of the first like big tag team matches that I remember as a kid.
Okay.
Because this is the promotion that I watched.
Okay.
All the way. So I saw. Tell me are you able to?
Yeah.
Okay. So I was in Mississippi visiting my grandma, or my great grandma, and she was a big wrestling fan, and so she watched this company, and I saw this on TV, not this match, but this company on TV, and so I started watching it when I went home, and so it was like I always watched this instead of the WWF because I thought you could only watch like one.
Huh.
It was like you had to be on this team, you know.
Chose this.
Yeah.
And now they're bringing the guy in again.
So Jim Cornette, yeah.
He's a real big part of the gimmick.
Oh yeah. Huge part.
So, like, now, for instance, modern day contemporary wrestling.
Jim Cornette got punched. I don't know if you saw that. Robert Gibson punched him. He's down for the count.
He's trying to fan himself.
Yeah.
If you're part of like oh my
Look at that.
gosh, come on.
Sweet Stan doing a little chest compressions there.
That okay. This is really ridiculous. So if you're part of a tag team now, is that all you do, or
No,
not necessarily?
Not really. No. So like WWE or F or whatever.
Yeah.
Vince McMahon famously doesn't like tag team wrestling because he considers it to be too southern. Because that was like tag team wrestling. Like I said, these guys were like main eventers and would make a lot of money.
Yeah.
And that was like a southern thing. It wasn't like that in the north or like
right.
in New York, you know, like where WWF was. And so like managers, there's not a lot of managers really anymore.
That guy is something else.
Jim Cornette.
Yeah, Jim Cornette.
Yeah, like total character.
Yeah, big time.
He's like still kind of around today.
Really?
Like he's got a podcast.
Okay.
And like
he's still hustling.
Yeah. Like runs his mouth about everything, and like, you know, the whole deal. He's always, you know, in character. And so we're kind of like getting into the match now.
Yeah.
So what are your impressions of like the actual physical interactions between the wrestlers?
Yeah, I mean you could tell like they're super familiar with each other.
Yeah.
They're throwing each other all over the place.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of bounce back where like one guy will throw another guy out and then the team member will be waiting and he'll do a move. It's like it's all flowing into itself.
Yeah, pretty seamless.
Yeah. Do they do a lot of tag team wrestling in like Japan?
Yeah. All Japan, especially through the 90s, that was like a big thing, and we'll watch one of those matches. But I mean, they would have huge main events, like 17,000 people with a tag team match. Yeah. New Japan wasn't quite the same. They were always more focused on singles matches. But and certainly now they're much more focused on singles matches.
There was a big banner with a hotline number.
Yeah.
What was that? Did
Oh,
you tell?
did you see that?
Yeah, he just jacked him out of the ring.
Yeah. Beautiful Bobby and Ricky
Beautiful Bobby.
go tumbling over. Yeah, so that was the WCW hotline.
And so what's the purpose of that?
1-900-909-9900. So it's like the 1-900 numbers that they used to have.
Yeah.
So you can call and you can like get some insider news.
Yes.
And there at one time
Did
there
you
was
ever call it?
No. My parents would have killed me.
Dude, they would have freaked out.
Yeah, they would have freaked out. At one time there was an option on there where you could call and listen to someone calling the match. Whatever.
Yeah.
Pay-per-view matches. So who's I don't know if anyone was doing that.
Did anyone ever do that?
Yeah, I don't know. Because it's like however many dollars a minute, $2 a minute times 3 hours.
Right.
So I don't know. So you'll see there now that Jim Cornette got a little involved with the tennis racket.
Yeah.
It's gotten a little more serious now.
Yeah, and they finally did try to attempt to pin one of the guys.
Yeah.
That was kind of the first time
Yeah.
they've just been beating on each other.
Yeah. And so...
What's the quote-unquote rule about multiple guys being in at the same time? That's the whole thing, right? I'm going to get in there and get him for a minute, and then the ref will get me out of here type thing.
Yeah, so it's like, the idea is, when you tag, you have 5 seconds.
So, like, do the switch.
To do the switch. But, of course, that, it's very liberal.
And then it's kind of like, when the guy gets thrown out of the ring, anything kind of goes, right? Like, the partner will run around and start trying to jack on him.
Yeah. And then it's supposed to be behind the ref's back.
Yeah, got it.
So I guess I should ask, do you have an idea of who the good guy is and who the bad guy team is?
No, I don't.
Oh, really?
No.
So the Midnight Express, they're the bad guys.
Okay.
Yeah. Does that make sense with Jim Cornette? There?
Yeah. He seems like a villain unto himself, but I didn't really get the impression that the wrestlers were.
Okay, yeah.
But he seems like, who could like him?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's one of the best managers of all time.
I believe it. Yeah.
There's like maybe one other guy that's as good as him.
He's really going all in.
Yeah. So, what's going on now? So, Ricky Morton, the Rock and Roll Express, they were famous for Ricky Morton. He would always get beat up for the majority of the match.
Okay.
And that's like the classic. Ricky Morton gets beat up, and then we'll see from there. But they're sticking true to that.
Okay.
And again, in their matches, that was always the classic thing as well.
Yeah.
And Ricky Morton still wrestles.
The battery is running low. Just so you know.
Oh no. Well, we shouldn't need it for much longer. I do apologize. You can turn it off also. Or just shut the screen off. So you see, they had a pinfall attempt, but Jim Cornette was distracting the ref.
Beautiful body.
And what they would do sometimes is Jim Cornette would be locked in a cage, like a shark cage, dangling above the ring.
Are you serious?
Yes. Which was always really funny, but
one time he fell and broke his spine or something.
No. One time he did jump off a scaffold and broke his leg. Because Big Bubba didn't catch him. Big Bubba lost him in the lights.
Big Bubba lost him in the lights. Wow.
which makes sense.
Yeah, it's a metaphor. There's a deep metaphor there.
But yeah, so like Jim Cornette would be in the cage above, and those matches were never quite as good because he adds such an element
Big
on the
time.
outside,
Yeah, dude, he's standing.
Yeah. So again, this is like
Par for the course.
Yeah.
Beating this guy up.
yes. And remember we talked about the structure, how it's like the baby faces, they get the crowd going, and then the heels, they take over and they beat up on the baby faces.
Right.
And then there's a big comeback.
They rise. And,
Yeah. So this is like a perfect example of that,
What year is this?
1990. Yeah. So it's like, a very big transition year, obviously. Like trying to like become the 90s,
Yeah, exactly.
But you still had a lot of like traditional teams and guys and stuff hanging on.
Right.
That were still viable in a lot of ways, but a lot more of the big, because you notice these guys aren't like big and jacked.
Exactly. Yeah.
So yeah, you had like them trying to go in that direction, and that's how it had been. Like they had more strong guys coming in over the past couple of years as well.
Right.
Uh-oh. Sweet Stan.
Sweet Stan.
Oh boy. Yeah, so Ricky Morton, like the Rock and Roll Express, still wrestles today.
Whoa.
Yeah, like
That's dark.
Ricky Morton is like a hustler.
Oh.
Like, do you see the bandanas
Yeah.
that he's got? He'll like, there's stories of like,
No.
well, I mean, obviously he's just in the back he's just tearing those up and trying to sell them. There's stories of like wrestlers, they'll be like driving to a show, let's say, and they'll drive by Ricky Morton pulled over on the side of the road, like having stopped someone on the side of the road, and him like ripping bandanas trying to sell them to people, like to people that he's like pulled over, like flagged down or whatever, Awesome.
The guy needs a benefactor to take care of him.
And so what are you, at this point in the match, what are you thinking?
I mean, this is pretty dialed. This is kind of like pro wrestling to me.
Yeah,
So,
I want to. Yeah, that's what I was wondering.
There's a lot of theater going on.
Yeah,
And the guys actually wrestling, the guys just seem really familiar with each other.
yeah,
So it doesn't seem like it's fluid, but at the same time it's like, I don't know how to say it, but like it's not phoned in, but it seems like pretty ridiculous, a lot of it.
yeah,
The actual like moves and that.
yeah. So like compare that to compare this to the Ricky Steamboat Randy Savage match.
Yeah.
In like execution of moves and everything. What do you see as the differences there?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think this has been like a carnival. Like it's just like a 3-ring circus. One guy's doing something to another guy, and it's pretty like effortless in that way.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know. Like I said, it's hard for me to say because it doesn't feel like it's phoned in, but it feels a lot more WWF like-esque.
Yeah. So when you say phoned in, do you mean like lack of effort?
No,
or do you mean like
this is
more
where,
choreographed?
This is where like and I guess like what you were saying, like selling it,
Okay.
like selling an injury or
You feel like they're doing more of that or less of that?
I feel like they're doing less of that.
Okay.
But like now it seems like it's getting pretty intense. But like the movement is there and like they're flowing.
But it's like
it just feels like the classic like he's the hitting.
Yeah.
I guess just comparing this, maybe not so much to that Savage match, but like based upon like that Japanese match.
The last one we watched.
Yeah, where it just felt very
Jumbo versus Tenru.
Jumbo. It felt very physically intense.
Yeah. That you're not getting from this.
Yeah, even though it's like they're going and it's physical.
Yeah.
This feels more like familiar like wrestling.
Yeah.
In the American my mind.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm watching professional wrestling. I'll think of this.
Yeah.
Like just there.
Yeah.
It was a really well done. He got tagged in and he comes in and he rolls one guy and he punches the other guy like nothing.
Yeah, just
seamlessly. And,
yeah.
And it looks good.
Yeah.
It's just like it looks all the more fake.
Yeah, yeah.
Even though like I'm not blaming. That's why my vocabulary is failing me on what all this going on. But like they're doing a good job.
Yeah, but the fluidity of it. Okay, so first of all, so what happened? Ricky Morton was finally able to tag Robert Gibson, and the crowd went crazy. That's the whole point of a tag team match. A Southern tag team match is build to. It's called a hot tag.
Okay.
So the fresh guy comes in and can clear he can give his partner a break and he can clear the ring.
Right. It changed like the momentum.
Yeah, but then the momentum gets changed again with Jim Cornette hitting Robert Gibson, but then there's a confusion in the finish, and so that's the finish.
Oh, okay.
Or so they kind of stumbled during the finish, and there you go. So the Rock and Roll Express win. Now, what you were getting at was like the fluid motions and the lack of grittiness, and like this feels more cooperative.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think it is?
Yeah. No, I mean that like, and I don't know.
Is some like weird Russian pornography gonna just come on right now?
I'm sure. Yes, absolutely. So we'll shut that down. Yeah. So I mean that's like. Which that's part of like the acceptance of pro wrestling as a fake art form, or as a fake sport. I guess as an art form, which is a fake sport,
right?
Like you accept that looking smooth and cooperative is generally a good thing.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. I totally wasn't trying to knock them,
right? Yeah.
For that, I don't. That's not a concern for me.
It's just a different feel.
Yeah. And I don't. I mean, in my view, that probably is closer to what would appeal to me.
Okay.
Than the more like intense realism.
Yeah.
I mean, I respect that. It's respectable, but it's like I'd probably if you had to lock me in a room and say I need you to watch X amount of hours, I'd probably rather watch like that style.
Is it a depiction of violence thing?
I think like it doesn't.
Or is it a surrealism thing?
Yeah, it might be a little of both. Like the violence, I don't. It doesn't like unnerve me, but I don't like I also don't look for it. Like that's not like. It's not. How would you say? It's not like visceral for me to.
Yeah.
Like I don't like watching boxing, for instance.
Right, or like UFC.
Yeah, or UFC, and I get that like why people do, but that's not like what I enjoy. So it's like...
That's not how you get your Jolly Time popcorns.
Yeah, I guess you could say that. So, whereas, the more surrealistic elements
Your
or...
cuties. That's not how you get your cuties.
Definitely not how I get my cuties. But the theater, like, the best part of that was the manager.
Yeah.
For me.
Yeah. So anyways, about that specific match, so that's my favorite tag team match of all time.
Okay.
It's got like a nostalgic element.
Yeah.
I think it's the best match that those two teams ever had that at least have like made, that were filmed.
Yeah.
I think it's a great representation of that style of match, and that style of match between those two teams. It's got like kind of everything I want.
It's like the culmination of a lot of things.
Yeah, and it's like it's cool that it's their last hurrah, kind of. Like they went out like with a big match, and like maybe their best match. So yeah, like I love that.
Yeah,
match.
I mean, I was very entertained by it.
Yeah. Can you tell? Because like that's like I think everyone that watches that thinks like, oh man, that's a great match.
Yeah.
It's not near some of the other stuff that we've watched. Can you tell that?
Yeah, I think now like however many episodes in, I think now.
Yeah.
I don't know that I'd be able to have earlier.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, this seemed a little more pulp.
Yeah, definitely.
You
Yeah.
know, like,
yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with pulp.
Yeah.
It's good to have that.
Yeah.
But, if you're talking about, like, kitschy.
Yeah.
Because in everything, there's kitschy and there's serious. Even in such a form as wrestling as a thing.
Yeah.
And so it's like, you need both of those.
Yeah.
And you should be able to appreciate elements of both.
Yeah.
But you can tell that's like a kitschy.
Yeah. And what I really like about professional wrestling is, I guess we were talking too much over a lot of the commentary. You probably didn't get much of the commentary, right?
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's not that big of a deal, but like the whole thing, and I've talked about this before, is making the kitsch, like treating the kitsch as a serious thing.
Yeah.
Like that, like they were treating that as a serious match. I mean, then they kind of made jokes about Jim Cornette or whatever, but
Yeah.
But Jim Cornette has to be suspended above the ring in a shark cage because he's interfered too much, and this is a serious match.
I mean that's brilliant.
And they have, it's like like that's what I love. Like it's not.
That's like the purity of wrestling.
That's the purity of wrestling.
Yeah.
It's not realism. Like it's not. Oh, this is like realistic. That's why I like this.
Exactly.
That I don't care about that. It's treating whatever you're
Absolutely
watching
absurd.
Yeah, with like gravity.
Yeah, I can appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
And so that spans a lot of different. Like I like most, pretty much all wrestling that, there's something in like every different kind of wrestling that I like,
Yeah. Do you like that stiff kind, or what is it called, where they're kind of emulating the grappling?
The shoot style.
Style.
Yeah, I do. There's a couple of my favorite matches that are those kind of matches, and I haven't done like extensive, real deep dives into all of it, but yeah, I like it. A lot of people don't.
Yeah.
A lot of people think it's like really bad and boring. But yeah, I like it. I don't know.
I think you like all of the whole world of of that.
Yeah.
Wrestling.
Yeah. But yeah, that was just one. I wanted you to see the Midnight Express and Jim Cornette.
that was something. I'll give you that.
Yeah. So next, what we're gonna watch?
Yeah. What do you got?
We're going back to All Japan, and we're going back a few years. Terry Funk, who you know.
Yeah,
or
just
know
I've
of,
seen
right?
him on the side as a commentator.
Yeah, but that's someone that you recognized. You had some level of recognition.
Yeah.
Prior to that, maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Like name only and whispers. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah, but not as like a wrestler or anything.
So this is Terry Funk versus Stan Hansen. Stan Hansen, my all-time favorite wrestler.
Yeah, I've never seen him in action.
Okay, so this is April 14th, 1983, I think. 4/14, I believe. Yeah. So we're going to watch this. This is a pretty famous match as well. Again, I don't think many people would consider it to be like one of the best, you know, but like a great match, and it kind of encompasses again like a lot of like what makes pro wrestling great.
Okay.
So let's see here. Oh, and you know what I should say. All right. So again, this is not on WWE Network or anything. If you're watching along, we're starting this right as Terry Funk's music hits. You know, in whatever version of this match you're watching.
Good luck.
Yeah, good luck. Okay, so we're gonna do that in 3, 2, 1, play.
Should I turn this off?
Oh yeah, sorry. So you got to pay attention to this now. So there you go. There you go.
Whoa.
Terry Funk cheerleaders.
Oh my gosh.
And a big sign for Stan Delary Hansen.
That's a gnarly sign.
Yeah. There's one for Terry Funk.
Texas Bronco. So this is like a southern.
So this is in Japan.
But it's in Japan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Terry Funk at this point was like a huge baby face.
Okay.
The crowd obviously loves him. You can try to see him through the
But they're eating him alive.
yeah, that crowd of people.
That's Hustle Terry. That's cool.
Yeah. And so yeah, he huge baby face in all Japan pro wrestling.
How do you break through over there?
And there's Tenryu right there. Younger Tenryu. So what he did, he was in a tag team with his brother Dory.
Okay.
And they had a series of matches against Abdullah the Butcher and the Sheik, and the original Sheik, of course.
Is he the one who was crying over the...
No, that's the Iron Sheik.
Oh, okay.
So I'm gonna cut that story off because Stan Hansen's coming out.
Okay.
So we're gonna watch him now.
Whoa.
So what's going on?
He's being really aggressive towards the crowd. Is he like swinging? What is he swinging?
A bull rope
Dude.
at the fans.
Yeah, he was swinging on all the fans with this bull rope.
Yeah. And so that's so what's going on now?
They're already talking crap to each other and they're furious.
Yeah.
They're both furious.
Yeah. So anyways, Terry and Dory, they had the tag team matches against Abdullah the Butcher and the Sheik.
Okay.
That's what propelled him to be like a real big time babyface. He was in All Japan years before that, but that really turned him.
So Stan Hansen is the heel?
Yes.
That's
and
crazy.
He was technically a heel, like his whole time in Japan.
Okay.
But I mean,
but they loved him.
they loved him.
Fan favorite.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
And that was a bit like people. He would get crazy with the people and with the bell, you know. But the people kind of loved it too.
So who's the wrestler that you said was just super ignorant and like didn't really respect, like trying to choreograph with the other guy, and often was pretty physically like brash? You told me about some guy years ago that like was really rough.
I mean, him probably.
I'm assuming it was him.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and his whole thing, he's legally blind without
That's
his
right.
glasses.
Yeah.
And so, like,
right.
he doesn't know what's going on.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was him.
Yeah.
Because you said like other wrestlers sometimes would get mad at him.
Yeah. Yeah. And, like, he'll like, he's the kind of guy that, like, you have to fight him. And like you know how the match, it's like, oh, you know, you sell, you take these moves, and oh, you did something to me, oh, it's gonna hurt. It's like you have to make it count with him, and you have to like fight for everything you get.
Yeah.
Otherwise, he'll just like totally swallow you up.
Yeah, you love that probably.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
I mean, I could obviously go on like endlessly about him, but like he's a big guy.
He is. He's scary looking.
Yeah, a big guy, and just watch his punches, and just watch everything he does.
Yeah.
He's not stomping his feet.
That's exactly. That's why he looks like he'd be sketchy to do this with.
Yeah.
Like, because he looks pretty, just brazen.
Yeah.
And it's like, you might get hurt, dude.
Yeah. So, you see how Terry Funk was gonna pick him up and body slam him.
Yeah.
But Stan Hansen didn't let him. It's like, he's not gonna let you do that.
Yeah.
Like, so what are you gonna do now?
Yeah.
And like he'll sell stuff, you know, but like you have to earn it.
That's crazy.
I love that. Like you see,
Yeah.
and then watch
He's just going on him. Yeah, he's so physical.
something about Stan Hansen. He's a big guy.
Yeah.
And it's not like he's running constantly or anything. He's always moving.
Yeah.
Like he never stops. And he won't get tired. Like I love conditioning in pro wrestling, like cardiovascular conditioning.
I mean, he's like a big old bull.
Yeah.
He's just like a farm animal.
Yeah. And it's not like he's wrestling and sprinting around and doing a million things and going a million miles an hour. He's just never stopping.
Yeah.
And so both of these guys, people, like a lot of people consider both of them to be, you know, the greatest wrestlers of all time.
Okay. How often do they do these, like, gaijin on gaijin?
So at this time, this is when it was really starting to change, at least. I mean, they would do, you know, tag team matches between them, you know, a lot, but in the 80s it started to be the barriers, because it used to be really based on, you know, native wrestlers versus kind of foreign gaijin invaders, you know?
Yeah.
But, I mean, through the 70s and into the 80s and beyond, into the 80s is when everything really started to change, you know? But this was more common, say, than, like singles Japanese versus Japanese feuds, you know?
Yeah. So, like, even today, are there a lot of Americans that will wrestle over there?
Yes.
Like, American on American?
Yes. Yeah, and more New Japan Pro Wrestling, you know? That's the second biggest company in the world right now.
Okay.
And they're really trying to expand worldwide. So there's a lot of
outside
wrestlers.
Did he just headbutt him?
Yeah, crawl.
He's ramming into him on all fours.
Yeah. So what's been your impressions so far of the action we've seen?
Yeah, I mean, it just seems pretty brash. Like, they're kind of just, like, really throwing their weight into each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not like technical moves and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Just like a bar fight.
Yeah.
Which, the Stan Hansen guy, he seems like a real crap kicker. Like,
yeah.
You wouldn't want to, like, run into him in some redneck bar somewhere.
No.
I mean, he's huge and, like, ignorant looking.
Yeah.
But like you said, he's all soft-spoken, I guess.
Yeah. And, like
really
gentle.
funny, yeah.
He, like, presents himself, like, very gently.
Yeah.
The crowd is chanting for Terry. I don't know if you heard that or not.
Yeah, I heard them cheering for him, and then when when Stan Hansen was really going on the guy, like, it was silent.
Yeah.
Like, they didn't want him to do that.
Terry's mannerisms and stuff, what do you think of those?
Yeah, he's pretty dramatic.
Yeah.
Like, Stan Hansen's, like, meat and potatoes. He hasn't done anything remotely like that once.
Right.
Whereas Terry's been flipping and flopping all over the place.
Yeah. Yeah, Stan Hansen, when he wrestles Giant Baba,
Dude, no.
it's a thing of beauty. Because he'll take like those big bumps
Yeah.
for Giant Baba. Ugh.
It's a thing of beauty.
We'll see. I would love to show you a Giant Baba match just so you could see him.
Yeah, it's probably as ridiculous as it sounds.
He's awesome.
Did anyone ever use like smoking as a gimmick? Like coming in with like a lit cigarette and like smoking?
Man, I'm glad you asked that. I mean,
I'm just trying to think of how far these jokers have taken some of this stuff.
well, like there's times like in the '90s, like there's a guy. Do you know who the Big Show is?
I've heard
sound
that
familiar?
name, yeah.
So there'd be times in WCW when he would come out smoking cigarettes.
Dude, that's so ignorant.
Or yeah, totally. Or a few years ago, there's a WWE guy named R-Truth, and he would light cigarettes. He would come out and light cigarettes, which is like, so
dude.
look at this.
Yeah, we got blood here.
Terry's bleeding.
Yeah.
You notice that was just done like with.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, obviously Terry did himself, but
yeah.
the effect was just his boots and his fists.
Yeah,
you know?
right.
Not a chair or a ring post
exactly.
or anything. So R-Truth would come out and light cigarettes, and that was during like real PG, like family friendly, real like corporate environment, dude. And one time he's a black guy, R-Truth.
Okay.
He came out dressed as a Confederate soldier.
No, dude.
Incredible.
No, that's like the lowest hanging fruit. Like,
Dude, great.
Awesome.
So good. That's like
Oh my gosh.
unbelievable.
Oh, that a lot of Mountain Dew was spit out of a lot of mouths at that moment in pure excitement and shock.
It was great. And it was like, yeah, genius. And it was in, I forget where exactly it was in, maybe like North or South Carolina or something, but he like made fun of everyone. It was a great thing. It was like real old school feeling, you know?
R-Truth.
Yeah. Justin and Doug and I, that's a big favorite of ours. So Terry...
Yeah, Terry's on the ropes, and he's been just getting hammered on.
Essentially the whole match.
Yeah.
Yeah. The crowd is still behind him. Oh, so that's his lariat. The Stan Hansen, the Western lariat.
Okay.
You see that?
Yeah.
If he hits... So he never let... Like, okay, remember the Jumbo match, the Tin Roo match? Jumbo kicked out of a power bomb, which is kind of like his finishing move, you know?
Yeah, it was his finishing move.
And that's that. You know, sometimes that'll happen. Stan Hansen never let anyone kick out
of that
lariat. No one ever.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
So he's taken a rope off of the ring post.
That's his bull rope.
Oh gosh.
Let's see. So Terry's in a bad way here.
And now they're in the crowd. Oh my gosh. Dude.
We're not sure what's happening now.
He's got the rope around his neck. This is shady, dude. And everyone's like just crowded around them.
See, he's got the streamers all over him.
He's just covered in streamers, and he's got that bull rope.
It's total like chaotic feeling, you know.
Totally, yeah. This is really crazy looking.
So he's dragging around. They're back at... Oh, there you go, Terry. So they're back in the ring now. Did you see that?
Dude,
Look at that.
Yeah.
Those stomps.
That's really...
Yeah. He's
Is that what you're talking about when people are probably like, dude, come on, man.
Yeah.
Like
chill out.
Chill out on that.
Yeah.
He was really kicking on his head.
Yeah, stomping it into the mat. Look at that. Which is like sketchy looking, like him Terry Funk bleeding, laying on the ground and having his head.
That's pretty brutal, dude.
Yeah. Look at this.
Oh my gosh.
So now
trying to choke him out over the ropes.
You're trying to hang him.
Hang him with
the
dude.
There's there's all those photographers there, you know. The pictures of that, they straight up they look like they look like Manson family murder pictures. Like the LaBianca house or something, you know what I mean? It's really like grisly looking.
Yeah, even what we saw already.
Yeah, it's really something. Even I like. Oh man, you know, a lot of the times that they've got blood, it's in the pictures.
Yeah.
You know, kind of real fantastical thing, but there's such a like
the lynching.
Aspect of it. Yeah. And I mean, that's a credit to Terry Funk because like the face that he's making, you know.
Yeah.
That's something else. Facial expressions is that's such a huge thing.
I agree.
And that's something like that the old school guys like that. Oh, okay, see, look at
what's
Dory.
going on.
So that's Dory Jr. He's coming out to try to save his brother now.
So, like, would this have been orchestrated?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
And you know what? That's actually something we didn't talk about.
Dude, and he looks shady, dude.
Dory Jr. So that's actually a big miss. We didn't talk about that in the Jumbo Tenryu match. That was a clean finish. No interference or anything.
Yeah.
That's also huge because all throughout the 80s, in All Japan specifically, it was all finishes like this. Just double count out or a disqualification or something. So no one ever lost.
Yeah, so what happened here?
So
they
it's
rang
like
the bell.
So the match would either be thrown out or Stan Hansen would win by disqualification because Dory interfered on Terry's behalf.
Got it.
So it was always stuff like that.
But it's okay.
You hardly ever hardly anyone would ever get pinned or anything. You know.
Okay.
Just bad finishes. You know.
Okay.
That's something else that Tenryu match started. Was like from there on, it was essentially all clean finishes. And that's a big thing that I missed.
Yeah, I wouldn't have known that because I don't know the history.
Yeah.
But.
So anyways, there you go. This match is winding down now.
I don't know. That was pretty spectacular.
It was awesome.
I mean, just as someone who's never seen anything.
Yeah.
That had kind of all the elements there.
Well, like I said, it has like kind of all the elements that you look for, or that at least I look for in professional wrestling match.
Yeah.
Just like that tag team match did, but this is a little different, you know?
It had that...
Just in a different way, I guess.
Yeah, it had that, there was a big, like, what-if factor there, which is, I guess I'm finding that to be a little important to me. Knowing that it's staged, to whatever extent, but, like, that was a dangerous-looking match.
Yeah.
Which is a credit to their abilities.
Yeah.
Because, whatever level that was actual, it doesn't matter because it makes you feel like it is. And that's their job. But, with the rope and those head kicks was
that's the heavy. Yeah, that's like...
And you could kind of see the man that Terry, like, came out,
kind of trying to get out of that,
in a survival instinct, not like as a wrestling move. Like,
Yeah. But dude, look at him just all he's
Yeah.
kind of confused, you know?
yeah,
That's like that's not to like pretend like I'm some like gnarly old school like wrestling guy
Yeah,
or
yeah.
anything, but like no one would act like that nowadays. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like no
yeah.
one would sell like that.
yeah, right.
Physically or just the facial expression.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
that is lost.
Yeah, that was. Yeah, I mean, I would think, to me, that was a match that. I mean, that's worthy in the pantheon like we've been watching.
Yeah, you think so? Okay.
yeah.
I mean, I absolutely love that match.
Yeah.
Like that's a very favorite of mine.
Yeah.
But more than anything, like it doesn't have the reputation that those other matches have. Because that's like a big part of it is I'm going off of reputation.
Yeah,
like
and I
some
mean,
kind of substantial reputation.
And are you finding that a lot of that has to do with what happened in the personal histories of the wrestlers leading up to the match and then also subsequently?
Yeah. Yeah.
So maybe that wasn't as big of a thing for these two?
Well, I mean, that also, like, there's so much that goes into building a reputation and who cultivates that reputation or that narrative.
Yeah.
A match like that, where it's not for a title, it's a singles match of several other matches on a card that's not necessarily, like, part of a big... Like, they had been... This was a feud, you know? But there was other stuff going on, too. It wasn't like, this is the top.
Okay. It was just a wrestling match.
Yeah, over the title or, you know, some personal thing.
Which matter, I guess that context matters.
Yeah.
Yeah, because to me, as someone who doesn't know any of that, I mean, if you put that up against pure wrestling that we've watched, that seems to have a lot of the spirit of the better ones that we've seen.
Yeah.
And so, like I said, there's a big what-if factor there, and there's, like, a lot of energy and character to it. And yeah, it's like professional wrestling, but I don't know.
But
it was kind of harrowing. It was
yeah. You just wonder a little bit.
Yeah, you got to have that mystery, and I mean, I'm finding that what can satisfy that for me, it seems like, is some kind of outside force or like a tertiary character who's like that manager guy or someone's wife or
baby doll.
Yeah. I mean, that can kind of like get you there in lieu of the like just that weird raw like, dude, he's kicking that guy's head in and the guy's like trying to get out of it.
Yeah.
You need something to have a mystery of what's real and what's not.
Meaning like that third party acts as the surrogate for you, the viewer.
It's like, yeah, I mean it keeps it like the third party. It does the same thing as like the moment where he's roping the guy or he's kicking his head in.
Yeah.
In that they both kind of like keep it into a weird mystery realm. Like, it's not okay. We're not watching MMA like or sumo or something where it's like, like, okay, I know that they're physically competing, like,
yeah,
but we're also not watching like the cheeseball Hulk Hogan,
yeah,
la-di-da.
Yeah,
it's like somewhere in that middle range.
And that's what that third party represents.
To me.
That third party represents the ability to blur the line between what's real and what's not.
To me.
Because they, like, that third party may represent the Hulk Hogan aspect.
Right.
Whereas what's happening in the ring
is like...
that could represent MMA, for instance.
Exactly.
Depending on the context.
Yeah.
But because both of those things are there, that creates a mystery and you're not sure where that line is.
Exactly.
So let me ask you this. Like, so both times that you've brought up, like, I kind of don't know. It's been really bloody, like, aggressive brawls.
Yeah.
Could that exist in a different context, like in a more professional context? Like, for instance, we'll get to some matches later on, but like, of what we've watched, let's say Ric Flair versus Ricky Steamboat, that long 2 out of 3 falls match. Like, so there's a spot that we both missed referencing live as it happened, but 16 elbow drops. Ricky Steamboat gives 16 elbow drops to Ric Flair's leg. Is it something like that that's obviously theatrical and obviously planned and cooperative, but could that give you that same feeling of like, how far are these guys going to go?
Yeah, I think so. But I think something like that's a little more nuanced and a little less like intuitive.
Yeah, like you have to know.
Have to be knowing a few more things than I know.
Yeah,
but like without being like kind of led there. But I mean, but with that, it a lot of things fall into place, and I can see a new dimension of it.
Yeah,
but that other what if element kind of, I mean, for instance, like if you had that bizarre manager in that last Japan match,
the Terry Funk one, Stan Hansen one.
Sorry, not the.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
Like,
yeah, the Jumbo Saruta one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then I'd be like, those two could go harder.
Yeah.
As like a straight wrestling. But he would add an element to be where I'd be like, dude, I don't know what's going to happen here, and like I don't know what's going on.
Interesting.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I know that wouldn't happen, but like that's the only way I can explain. It like he does a really good job of like serving as a foil to like the imagination.
Yeah, yeah.
And so like that Japan match, was that New Japan? That last one we won.
All Japan. Both of those were all Japan.
It was like, it wasn't very imaginative to the casual viewer.
Yeah.
To a wrestling fan, that's different. But like,
but to the casual viewer,
yeah, the imagination, you need to be on a different plane to understand, because the imagination comes from how they're executing the moves and the pacing of everything. I can appreciate that, but I can't in-tune that as easily as like if there's a foil there into another world that kind of keeps it a haze over it.
Yeah.
And so like the Stan Hansen thing, a way to get there for me is through the violence. If I can't really tell what they're gonna do.
Yeah.
But like that was effective because it wasn't it was brutal, but like unlike the cage match, bringing that bull rope in that's where you get absurd. So you that's what keeps it in that realm of like it gets a little more interesting. And so the bull rope is the foil. That's the third party. Like party, If he doesn't have that and he's kicking his head in, I'm still like shocked and like wondering, but that's a little more of like a primal thing, like
a primal reaction.
Like is he gonna break the guy's neck or whatever?
Yeah.
But with the bull rope, it's like, okay, I know they're like planning this and this is professional wrestling, but man, he might like snap the guy's neck. Here.
Yeah.
I don't know how, because they're trying to push each other, and like the Terry guy's trying to sell the martyrdom. Yeah. And then Stan Hansen's trying to sell being the heel and like going on him. Brutally. Yeah. So it's like, who's gonna relent first? Right. Yeah. So for that, I think that's a worthy kind of match.
Okay. Yeah. So going back to the Jumbo Tenryu match, because they, like you noted how hard they were hitting each other and stuff. Yeah. If there had been that third party, so as it was then, your reaction was, this is a very hard hitting professional wrestling match.
Yeah.
There was never a moment when you felt like, I don't really know what's going on here. Like, there's no blurred lines for you at all.
Right.
The hard hitting to you represented
physicality,
and I'm allowing you to hit me hard because this is what we're doing in the match.
Yeah, and it's like a show of strength,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
endurance, on both of their parts.
Yeah, both in character and out, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So if there had been a third element there, like Jim Cornette or something, just something bizarre. Everything happened to the same, but there was, let's say, Jim Cornette freaking out and waving his tennis racket periodically. Would that match have given you? Would that have added a haze to it?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's he creates disruption in every sense, but in the sense that like you start to question what is planned, and not. And what is the point? What are they trying to achieve here?
Right.
Because it seemed clear to me what they were trying to achieve when it's the two of them. They're trying to have a pure wrestling match.
Right. Which you know is fake.
Which we all know is fake.
Yeah.
But it doesn't detract from the athleticism they're bringing to it.
Yeah, yeah.
And they're proud of that.
Yeah.
And I can admire that.
Yeah.
But it doesn't. There's nothing that my imagination can spin on. But if you bring someone absurd in there, to disrupt that the setup, then now I am questioning how hard they're hitting each other and what significance that might have.
But because that third party represents professional wrestling to you as you know it, and as you know it is an absurd spectacle where Hulk Hogan stomps and punches and misses the person or something like that.
Exactly.
So that recontextualizes the match that you're watching and puts it into a realm that you're not sure of based on your preconceived notions of what professional wrestling is.
Probably.
Okay.
But I mean, I think
which isn't. That's not. I don't mean that as a bad thing.
No, but I think just in general, you could make a case that it would add a level there that would disrupt the atmosphere. And you wouldn't really know what to trust because it's all about trust.
And
believability.
Suspending disbelief and all that.
Yeah, and it as a casual viewer, I'm constantly looking at what I should be trusting. What are they wanting me to trust, and what are they trying to convey?
Yeah.
So you throw that kind of wrench in the cogs there, and I think you then pay attention to the physicality in a different way. Yeah. And it becomes a little more uncertain. I don't think they would need to have done anything different. There wouldn't have needed to be blood or anything. Just they keep going like that, but you have such an absurd third character or element, and suddenly you start to have to really criticize everything.
Yeah, how hard are these guys actually pushing themselves?
Yeah, because I wouldn't be used to it in that context, and I don't think anyone would be. Right? It would kind of, So
interesting. Yeah, I don't know. That's something that's real interesting that I'm looking forward to exploring more throughout various matches. Let me ask you this: Would you watch? Those death matches that I like? Yeah. Would you watch one of those?
How long are they?
Something in the realm of 20 minutes.
Is with the light tubes and all that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can maybe do one.
Yeah.
I don't know that my tolerance level could.
Yeah.
But yeah, maybe there's a morbid curiosity there.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't, did you ever? Because I played a couple of those behind us when we've played before. Yeah. Did you ever see any of those? Or
yeah, not? I mean, I think the only the memories I have they were so ridiculous.
Yeah.
That it was just okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't really remember a lot.
Okay. All right, good. Yeah, we're not going to do the questions or anything for this, so it was just like a little curiosity of my own. I just wanted to show you those matches. So before we go, Jordan, what's your blood type
No.
for the folks at home?
I don't want to do my blood type. It's sugar positive.
No, X, blood type X.
Blood type.
The Chronic 6 song.
Okay. Yeah. That's all.
Any plugs for you, Jordan?
No, but I will say powdered sugar over solid chocolate.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, the
For
solid
donuts.
chocolate, it's waxy.
I'll eat
too
them.
waxy.
I will eat those all day.
I can't do that. They changed either one of them. I can't really do anymore. They changed them a few years back.
Yeah, they did. But I think the powdered is the way, though.
Yeah. Fair enough.
That's my plug.
Okay. You can follow me on Twitter at _burning spirits. Thank you for listening, everyone. We'll be back next time. Bye.
Bye.